time. I said, no, it's time to run my station. That's how Age television station came on. It is the time of divorce. I was so sold out for God. And now the TV station is settled, it's running. And Pastor Jerome, God now has reminded me, when I started the ministry, after the counseling and all these faith and healing school, God taught me to build a Christian hospital. All those things are now going to be in process. Because I know I've told God, I've asked God to keep me up to 90 years.
So
and I'm only 61.
Your faith life is just starting.
Yes, my faith life is starting. So I've told God I have to build a Christian hospital. I have to build a Christian boarding school. I have to build an orphanage and a retreat center. And that must be within the space of time that God has put, unless He adds some more. But for now, that's my focus now. Nothing breaks me. Nothing breaks me. I run with God. I have refused to say no to His assignment. No matter the challenges of life, I don't give up on God. No matter how hard it is, I pray. One of the gifts God has given me, I'm a prayer warrior. I use my knees to speak to God. And He never fails, He's never late, He's always on time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Life Lessons Learned from the Leadership of Leading Ladies. We had interviewed on Scars to Stars. Good evening. Hope your Saturday is going well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Another edition of our lessons we have learned from our leading ladies in Zambia. Hope you're doing good. We have 3 women we're looking at today. We advertised them yesterday to you. Sarita Mulongoti, Mwangala Muyayeta, and Prophetess Elfida Faith. We're looking at those 3 women today, and we're asking ourselves, what did we learn from their life, from their leadership? What life and leadership lessons did you learn? We welcome you, and we ask you to please join us, be part of the discussion, and show us what you learned, what benefits, what value did you take, and what are you going to take forward? We'd like to know that. What is it you are going to take forward into your life from what you learned from the other women? And what is it you are not doing? What did they inspire you to do? What have they challenged you to do? Where are you aspiring to reach from the inspiration you got from their lives? Well, to analyze this in studio, we have Clara. Clara, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You said you enjoyed Mwangala's. What about Mwangala? Did you enjoy, Clara?
Just how liberal she is.
How liberal she is.
Exactly.
Okay. You didn't notice she was geeky?
Not really. She explained her life in such a way that you'd be inspired to do what she did.
She's awesome.
Like it was effortless.
She's like the Matrix.
Exactly. I like that part. And she, and she totally agreed with that. So I just enjoyed her.
I think that's the beautiful part about her. She enjoyed being herself.
Exactly.
And she even rolled with the punches. When you talk about, oh, they call you a geek, she rolled with it.
I liked her statement, nerds rule the world. Exactly. And she's so comfortable with that, and I just love that.
That was good. And we have Kasongo. Kasongo, how are you doing? Good evening.
I'm lovely. It's a beautiful night, and I'm so excited to be talking about these people that we're reviewing or talking about, picking up the lessons from, especially Mwanga, because she was very excited. I don't know, maybe she resonates more with me because I like that particular space, internet and IT and everything. So I was really excited reviewing and been going through everything that she spoke about.
Awesome. So we're going to be reviewing these women, and we ask you to please join us. Even as we do it, let's do it together. I believe in collaboration. I believe that there's room for you to share. So the numbers are going to be on your screen. Please share with us what you think. For the winners of yesterday's Fastest Fingers First, that was Friday. Thank God it's Friday. You never know what could happen today. Get your fingers ready. You never know. You just never know what's cooking in CBC's kitchen. So today, let's go into it. I'll hand over to Kasongo. Kasongo is going to lead us through, and I'll come back to you at the end to wrap it up. Probably, let's see, lessons learned. Yes, Kasongo, who are we starting with? What are we doing today?
Well, I want us to start with Elfrida Faith. I think her story was very inspiring, considering from all the people, everybody was great, everybody we profiled was awesome, but she spoke very passionately. She was very open, and that about her is just so inspiring to see. She sort of like gone through every space of life. She went through divorce, she went through sickness, she came out and she's built herself literally from the ground up. She's one woman who started with nothing, being a pastor's child and having to be in that space and then getting out and having a child out of wedlock. Everything that she just went through for me was just very inspiring, a very touching story really. She just breaks all the boundaries, Elfrida Faith. I think she's really just an inspiring woman. I don't know for you, Clara, what did you think?
She actually is, and one thing I think that blew my mind away is her industriousness. She's just industrious, she's phenomenal. She did not rely on one stream of income. And that in itself, and she showed so many responsibilities. Apart from her just being a single parent, she looked after her own parent, you know, and the family for such a long time, and I think she still does, you know. So that in itself kind of just brought out something unique about her. It kind of brought out something just phenomenal, really.
Yes.
And by faith.
So her life has been by faith.
Exactly.
By faith, just
when
like
she
her
came
name.
to know God.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Another thing I picked out from her is the power that she has in prayer. She really emphasized prayer. She talked about it from she said, when I got she never used to understand why her parents used to pray or why her father used to pray, but when her time came and she was going through these things, she knew where to run to.
Exactly.
She knew that her answer was going to be found on her knees. And I remember even from the video that we played, she said, I know where my solution comes with. When I knew, that's where my answers come from. Exactly. And her persistence in prayer. I just love the story of how she used to go to the church at night with her friend. She'd always pick up a phone call and try to call her friend to go to church and pray with her. I know somebody who does that. Sylvia always does that. And every time she did that, she would go there despite it being dark. I remember she says there was no electricity in the church, but they picked up the candles and they went and they prayed. Even when her friend didn't come, she still went and she still prayed. And that for me, it's encouraging to know that if God used to answer prayer then, he can still answer prayer now.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I think her life, and it's something I think we all need to learn from. When you look at her life, you find that her leadership started well early in life. You see that in all the women we talk about. They started early. She was head girl. She says, I've always been the top of my class, as in the leader in my class throughout. And that leadership she took throughout into what she's doing now. She's always been very bold. Also, what you find from her life is that Kasongo says she was very open. I think she was very courageous. It takes courage for people to talk about spaces where they are vulnerable. And women, you need a lot of courage. You see, a lot of times, this is my lesson from the women, so I'm not even teaching, I'm just telling you what I learned. People don't talk about things because those things still overpower them and silence them and takes away their power. With Elfrida Faith, you saw a woman that says, nothing will silence me. The power is in me. I'm going to keep trying. And I think that's very important. Because you find that a lot of people come and say, what will society say? What will society? So they silence your voice and they take away your power.
Exactly.
And you begin to exist. But she refused. In fact, I don't think she saw anything stopping her in life. The only thing that stops her was herself.
Exactly.
But she learned that I can go to God. God will always be there. So women face challenge. I think she's one of the women that really took us into every challenge of her life.
Yes.
And this is why she was the only one that we had probably over an hour, 30 minutes. You couldn't stop it because her life was just full, and she was not ashamed, but she was courageous to say, look, these are things I've gone through and come through, and God has been the one seeing me through. And the beautiful thing is, most women go through those kind of things. I hope that's not a generalization, but a lot of women go through that. But they are not courageous enough to talk because they feel society will shame them.
Exactly.
They will feel my life is so unworthy. I should be ashamed. Therefore, I bury my head. But this woman is still telling you, I'm going to build. I'm going to change society. I'm going to contribute. I'm going to work till I'm 90. And when I'm finished, I will go. That's a life worth looking at.
True.
You know?
Very true.
And another thing that I learned from Prophetess Elfrida Faith is her persistence. She never gave up, never. Despite her having gone through a breakup, she still found something to do out of that. She had to rebuild her church. After she went through that, when she was going through sickness, she didn't give up either. She was still praying for other people who were sick.
Yeah.
And her persistent power for me was just overwhelming. It blew me away. Yeah.
Interesting. And also the fact that, within that, she's really understood her purpose. She's really moved in her purpose, is driving it. And so no distractions, nothing hinders her. Her faith, I think, is wrapped up in knowing whose purpose it is that she's carrying, and knowing within a time frame that she's been given to live on earth, she has to fulfill that. That, I think, I love a lot.
Yes.
She's not even leaving to say, this is the time I've been given. She's telling God, this is the time I want.
Exactly.
Because I have work to do. This is the time I want. It's back to Kasiketi yesterday.
Yeah.
Kasiketi said, no, was that Kasiketi? No, it wasn't Kasiketi yesterday. Catherine Kasiketi is down the line. Who did we have yesterday?
We had Norena.
Not Norena.
Osborne.
No.
Mrs. Mazava.
No. Was Mrs. Mazava yesterday? Yesterday?
No,
You're joking.
Oh, the other.
Okay. Anyway, find your purpose. That's what's important. Find your purpose and follow it. You were talking about her not stopping. Most of the time when people find their purpose in life, nothing stops them.
Exactly.
They keep going. Challenges only motivate them to go more. That's when you know somebody that has found her purpose.
True.
Because the picture she has inside of her life never lets her stop
That's right.
taking steps. And I think that goes with most visionary people.
Yes.
The picture you have seen drives you to wake up in the morning and get back on the road and say, I'm going to make it. And you see that beautiful thing in the wonderful woman. I think she's such a pioneer for women.
Yes.
I think she's such an awesome example for women.
Indeed.
And Women of Influence shows that every day.
Yes.
Over 20 years, 22 years over that, how many years? 24 years. She's been doing Women of Influence and shaping spiritually. She's been that female leader, shaping so many other younger female leaders coming up.
Exactly.
Wonderful to see her life.
Sure.
Wonderful to see her life.
Yes, and on that note, we have a couple of messages coming through. This one says, good evening, Pastor and ladies. Enjoying the show. I have really learned a lot. Thanks, ladies, and an inspiration to us, especially us young people. I'm Nelly from Chingola. Thank you very much, Nelly, for that message. We have another message. This one says, it's nice. It's a nice conversation. I'm enjoying the story. Mr. Kambole J from Ndola. Thank you very much for those messages, and we are still open on our phone lines, so you can send us a message and let us know what you think or what you learned from these particular women that we're speaking about today. On that note, we'll ask Andrew to please play us Elfrida Faith, Nothing Breaks Me.
I tell these women who are divorced and they stop thinking, they stop bathing, they stop dreaming. I tell them, if that same man who divorced you, if they told him, want to crucify you for that woman, he will back out. He will not die for you, but Christ died for you. So don't allow divorce to finish you. Don't even allow, because you have lost a spouse in death, to finish you. Nothing should finish you. Jesus has done a finished work in our lives.
Absolutely.
Before he gave up the ghost, he says, it is finished. That means no matter the battle of life, no matter the challenge that you face, if you hand it over to Jesus, it's a finished work.
And welcome back. So that was Elfrida Faith, and she was speaking that nothing breaks her because she understood the power that God has given her and where to go when she needs anything. We have a message here. This one says, okay, all I want to say is girls of nowadays, we lack the mind to think, and women are lacking attitude. So I want to tell all the girls and women out there to be positive about what they want. You might be influenced by a friend or a relative, but don't let them predict your tomorrow. Philippians 4 verse 13, I have power to overcome all conditions. And this one's from Lisa from Kitwe. Thank you very much, Lisa, for that message, and we are glad that you are watching. This other message says, good evening, everybody. My name is Kalima, and I love God so much. Thank you very much for that particular message, Kalima. We're glad that you're watching. And another woman that I would like to echo is Mwangala herself. I love how she spoke about she says she really feels bad when she sees young people going or doing jobs where they're not challenged, where they don't get to do more. She feels bad because each and every person should be stretched beyond their boundary, and that for me just spoke volumes. Like sometimes we find that young people are in places where you don't want to do certain things, you want to be lazy, but she says stretch yourself, go beyond the boundaries, and then you get to learn. So her vast experience in the IT sector, you could see that she has really had to work hard to get to the place at which she is today.
Exactly. And that in itself actually showed how she emphasized on the fact that with life you have to plan. And with the planning, it gives you an overview of what you need to do, what you do not need to do. She says she doesn't really watch TV. And those are some of the things she's actually given up to fulfill that plan that she has and along that path. And so that in itself is just phenomenal, looking at the area she's in and the time that is required for what is needed to do. And so her giving advice to young people nowadays, oh my God,
I feel like we should just take it. If she's she's able to come through and she's in a space where all of us young people, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking for myself, we love the IT space, and to see somebody who's thriving in that space and they're telling you they had to work their way up like that, I feel we should learn something.
a lot actually.
I don't know what stood out for you, Pastor.
Her whole life, every woman, everything about them stood out. And for her, when you refer to her, what you're looking at is not that she gave up anything. She just chose who she wanted to be.
That's right.
So she's not giving up TV. She's living her life. So TV is not a priority.
That's right.
And the way she put it is she chooses what television to watch.
That's it.
And she doesn't just watch one, she's saving money. She doesn't have to pay subscription. Number two, she knows where to get what she needs.
That's right.
So she takes her pad or she takes her computer and she selects. You see, a lot of us don't see the value of the internet.
Yes.
And she shows you how to use the internet. She uses the internet to benefit herself. She uses the internet to learn what she wants. She's saying to you, you can choose what to learn. You don't have to watch everything. That's why she switched off her TV.
Exactly.
It's not important to me.
Yeah.
If it was important to me, I will spend money on it. I watch what I want. I download it or I stream it and I watch what I want. I think that's a great thing to learn.
It is.
Life by priority. You see, when you have priorities, you're not giving up anything because it is not your priority.
Exactly.
And she showed you that she planned her priorities. So there's parties every Friday. There's parties. You heard also Loani say that there was parties every Friday. They organized it. It was part of the work space there. But she chose. I'm not going. I'm going to spend 6 months preparing, and the results showed, because at the end of 6 months the examiners are saying, who is this girl?
Exactly.
100% in everything.
Yes.
At that time, that was phenomenal.
Yes.
And today it has paved the way for her.
That's right.
So somebody has a priority of going to every party and dancing everything and drinking every drink and say, I have drank Johnny Walker Black Label, Johnny Walker Blue Label, Hennessy 5-star, Remy Martin, and say, oh, I have drank it. Yeah. And that's your award. Somebody goes and say, oh, that one I've slept with him. Oh, that one I've slept. Oh, yes, that one I remember I've slept with him. That's their priority.
True.
Somebody will say, oh, that church, I've been there. Oh, that I know those churches. That church, that's their priority.
True.
To jump about. But this person says, my focus is this.
I'm going for it.
So she wasn't losing. She was just focused. I think that stood out for me. And the beautiful thing is that it shows in her work.
Exactly.
When you look at her work career, everywhere she went, she came to a place and they would think, is this the genius? And then she solves the problem and they wonder, wow. But the respect comes.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about Mangala, and I'll leave the rest to you guys.
So
But
we have a message. This one says, on my part, what has inspired me was how these women were able to overcome the most unimaginable barriers. Not only did they overcome, but they also taught others how to overcome and step out there and not give up, but to be the best for themselves and an example to others that nothing is impossible. It's all in how we set our minds. This to me was food for thought.
you know, today I really just am so excited. I think what is striking me today, and I hope Andrew can come here, what is striking me today is you at home. Your comments have been fantastic. Your comments, believe me, it shows that you've listened. It shows that probably between yesterday and today you went to do some work. Apart from that, it's not just that you went to do some work, it is showing me that you actually are learning. So all you at home, all those that have been sending comments, you're absolutely fantastic women and men, and please keep learning because you are the future. Zambia is going to be better because you get inspired, and your inspiration is going to change society. So it's your time. For all of you sending the comments, thank you so much. It's so enriching listening to what Kasongo is reading today, and I just am your fan. I'm your biggest fan. Honestly, you just, what they say, you rock, you're something. You're the bomb.
Yeah, the bomb.
Honestly, that person is just a bomb.
Yes, we
Please
have
go
another
ahead.
message actually. This one says, evening, I love the confidence in Prophetess Elfrida Faith. God has built a magnet of faith through the word. This program is uplifting many people. I'm blessed indeed. Pastor Mike from Lusaka. Thank you very much, Pastor Mike, for that message. We have a couple of people that are watching from Facebook as well. And this one's from Memory Malimo. And this one says, nothing is consistent. Nothing inconsistent about Pastor J is you can be what you want to be if you focus on your dream, and I am following clearly. I'm always inspired. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Memory, for that message. And we have another one here. This one says, good evening, everybody. Very inspiring stories. I mean, you mean this woman spoke about her HIV on TV?
Oh, she's been speaking over 30 years now. So it's not just today. She was the first person to come out and say, I am. And the beautiful thing is that she said it the first time, and God said, they didn't hear you. Go back and say it again. And she said it the second time, and she did. And she says, no, they didn't hear you. Go back again. A third time. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. I feel Professor Elfrida has this strength in what she says, and she's really not ashamed. She's like the living example of I'm not ashamed of the gospel.
I think you want to say it's not that she's not ashamed, it's that she is not living at that level.
No.
She's living at a level where she doesn't have time to be ashamed.
No.
You know? You see, winners don't sit and whine and say, oh, what are they thinking about me? What are they? I think that's what we should see, that she's so into what she believes in that she's not having time to look and listen. I'm sure as a human being she feels what they feel and hears what people say, but the thing inside her is too big for her to stop.
Exactly.
So that's really wonderful. And I think even when you listen to her, she says it's the God in her that made her. She says God prepared me to learn that I was HIV positive. I have gone through it. God had talked to me about faith, about prayer, about healing. So by the time I was hearing about my result, it wasn't such a big issue anymore because I already had faith. Exactly. And I think those things we must not take away. The God life in her, the Christ likeness in her. I think that's really super.
It is.
And we have one more message, and this one is from Wina. Wina says, good evening, everybody. I mean, women like this exist on the planet.
Yes, they do. A lot of them.
Thank you very much, Winnie,
Absolutely,
for that
Winner.
message.
A lot of them, they exist.
Wow.
And they're not far away. You see, this is one reason, again, we brought Florence. We'll talk about when we get to Florence. We sometimes watch on television and we think that, okay, this is a superstar. But you know that's what every mother does close to every single day.
Yes.
We don't sing the stories of our mothers, but our mothers do it every day, every single day. What we think is spectacular, you understand? You know, I saw it's something you see there, and this child is going with the mother. The child knows how the mother works every day. Then they come to a place, and then they see where they put, you know how you go to a construction site and say men at work.
Yes.
Then she says, Mom, you see, men have to put a notice to show us they work. But it's something we see every day. But when men work, they want everybody to know
that they're
men at
working.
work.
Yeah.
What of the women?
Yes.
And think about what women do every single day. So it's not just that, like Wina said, when women like that exist, they do exist. We just don't celebrate them.
Exactly.
We just don't let people know how good they are. We just don't recognize. You see, when women do work, nobody recognizes it.
That's true.
They just feel it's a woman. When a man picks up and says, "Oh, a man is in the kitchen," but
Are you
women
sure?
are
But they're
Oh, you
there every
understand?
day breaking
Like
the
it's just
barriers.
part of being a
there.
woman.
It's
to
part
work,
of being a
you know?
woman's life to work
Yeah.
and to be excellent, to be resourceful, to be strong. We don't notice it. We take it for granted.
True. True.
But when a man does it, everybody claps and say, "Wow, he's doing this."
doing it.
But she does it every day. So there's millions of women like that. They're close to every woman in every home is such a superstar.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And we have another one. This one says, I'm very much blessed and I have learned a lot. May God bless you, Rhoda from Mukushi. Thank you very much, Rhoda, for that message.
Amen, Rhoda.
We really are grateful. Another thing that I learned from Wangala was she said she's built support systems around her.
Yeah.
She is also a single parent, and she said in order to get to that position, she had to find support systems. She didn't have to do it alone.
Exactly.
She had found somebody to help her, and that's
Did she
something
find or did she create?
she created.
Yes.
She created people to. So she surrounded herself with people to help her, even as she goes about that, and that's something that sometimes we lack as people. We don't want to accept the help and say, okay, I can't do everything on my own. I do need a little help here and there, and it's okay to create a good support system, because even when you're down at that point, you have somebody to help you out and build you up in that particular moment.
Absolutely.
True.
Sarita said the same. I think you need to even look at a lot of Sarita, because when Sarita, for her to be where she is, one of the things she said is that she has a great support system.
Yes. True.
That her support system has been more or less kind of her reason why she's getting where she's getting, because she started with her husband and the people she has put around her and how she has structured it. So she says based on that, she can be a wife, she can be a mother, and she can still be the MD of Unilever in Zambia. So you find that support systems are so important. You can't do everything, and you can't be Wonder Woman every time.
No.
You must remove your cape sometimes and say, look, I need help.
True.
And not just need help, create the help around you.
Exactly.
I think that really makes a difference.
Yes.
So question is for both of you, what kind of support structures are you putting around yourselves?
Okay, so personally, I have come to appreciate friendships. I always have that one friend that I can call for anything, and that for me has really built me up. Also, having a great support system from my parents is just so encouraging. They always push me to go for my dreams. I tell you, if I was to call my parents today and say I want to go to the moon, they'll say, okay, how much is your ticket? So that for me is really something that I always rely on. And also just being around people like Pastor Jay, I know he's good, don't say no, but Pastor Jay, and also Clara. These are people that you can always go back to. Your support system. You could be at that moment where you don't have anything. I know I can always pick up the phone and say, oh, Pastor Jay, oh, Clara, it's like this. And that for me, it gives me strength to even go on.
Exactly. And for me, I think part of having a support system is to have people that you're accountable to. People that watch over you, people that can sit you down. You know what? You're actually going the wrong route. This is the way to go. Because sometimes in your wanting to be what you want to be, you would go so fast yesterday one of the ladies talked about speed humps, having
Yes.
signals
Yeah.
and everything. So having a strong support system is having people that would signal you, this is the wrong route. Apart from you having the ambition and the drive to go for it, it might not be the time, it might not be the way. And so for me, as having a strong support system has a lot to do with accountability. It has a lot to do with mentorship. It has a lot to do with who you're aspiring to become and what is it that you're doing that they did to get there. So, and also who is watching over you in terms of spiritual cover, and all that. So for me, that is...
I think that's a good place to look at support system, because sometimes people may think support system is just who can I drop a child with,
Yes.
Exactly.
who can help me do my shopping, or who can help me, who can I drive in their car to go shopping
Yes,
or
exactly.
to travel.
Yeah.
So it's not just that kind of support. It's support of somebody keeping you on track, support of
Exactly.
somebody,
Exactly.
you being accountable, someone can look in and speak into your life.
Exactly.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. I hope somebody gets that. That's really
Yes.
good.
We have a couple of messages. This one says, "Good evening, everybody. I'm Mark Kalumbina from Nyamema." Oh, these names. I'm enjoying the show. May God bless you. Thank you very much for that message. We have another one, and this one says, what defines our path in life? Is it a set of things we prioritize? Medical doctors prioritize biology sciences over mechanical sciences. Doctors prioritize biblical science, biology sciences. Sorry, let me read that again. Mechanical sciences, hence they become doctors. From this show, I'm learning that we have everything and everyone around
Absolutely.
us, but to be something and someone of purpose. We don't have to follow everything and
Yep.
everyone, but we have to be specific about the path we need to take.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you very much for that message.
Did a name come with that? That's
They
so
did not
beautiful.
put a name to
Fantastic.
that. And this one is from
Today, the greatest people are those people watching at home. I'm telling you, they're just blowing my
Too
mind
much,
today. I'm
too
telling you,
much.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Zambians are wonderful people. That's
Indeed.
fantastic.
And we have a message here from Rita. Rita says, I have learned a lot. Among many things, the Z Farmer inspired me so much. I now account for every ngwe that comes in.
I love the Z farmer.
that comes in and prioritize spending.
I hope she's watching.
really
Maria,
hope
you
she
see your
is.
disciples.
Desire to lift lives of less privileged is growing, and I started building a few in a very small way. Watching from Chingola,
That's
Mwanza,
fantastic.
Rita. Thank you very much for
Well
that
done,
message.
Rita. Super, super, super.
And
So I'm waiting for Rita when we're reviewing
we want to hear.
Maria Zalomis,
Yes.
the Z farmer herself. Super.
And I think another thing that stood out from Sarita's message is when she talked about, she says, in her exact words, she says, there's nothing like work-life balance.
Yeah.
One thing has to give more than the other. And she says it's about harmony, putting the things together, making them move in a particular line.
Yeah.
One will have to die more than the other at a certain point of time,
Yeah.
but everything should go towards the same direction. And that for me just stood out, and it blew my mind. Up to this date, I think I put it up on my wall and I say, work-life balance doesn't exist, but harmony, it's which direction is everything going? Is it going
So,
towards one
Explain to
particular
me,
goal?
what is work-life harmony?
Yes, I feel work-life harmony, from what I learned from her, is knowing that sometimes one thing will have to gain more than the other. For example, you have to give in a bit more in your work than your life sometimes, and other times you have to give in a bit more to your life than your work. But everything else,
So, you see, you're still doing work-life balance because you are saying your work than your life. Is your work and your life different?
yes, because I have different lives.
So, work, this is why people burn out. And that's why I'm asking the question. Because your work is you. So, you don't have, this is my life, this is my work. It's the same one person. So what you want to do, work-life harmony, is ensuring that your work is in alignment to who you are, who you want to be. So you're not living two lives. And then your life is part of your work. For example, when you talk about balance, not balance, support. You see, because your family life is important to you. Your work, therefore, you want to prioritize whereby you can say, okay, I'll commute, I'll telecommute, I will work from home. So you're creating harmony. You're aligning that maybe if I'm going to work, maybe I'm going to Sirenje or to somewhere. I go with my family, I go with my children. So while they're spending time with me. So you're arranging your life in a way whereby you don't have to say this is work, this is life. They come together and they're in alignment. All of them are in alignment. Your marriage is in alignment. Your children are in alignment. And then you're arranging it in a way whereby that support is because everything is in alignment. They know there's communication, they understand your challenges, so there's no burnout. So the world doesn't go into work-life balance anymore because you will never balance, which is what you're saying. But you need to understand it. Therefore, you want to create harmony. You know what harmony is? Music.
Yes.
So many instruments. Why do you call it music, not noise? Because there's harmony.
It's organized.
It's organized and it's structured and arranged in a way whereby they all complement each other. There's harmony. But if there's no harmony, you can't bear it because it's noise.
True.
So that's the difference.
True.
I think I really didn't understand it. Now that you put it like that, I think it causes.
So you're in control of your life.
Picture.
Which
And
is
you
what
live
Sarita
based on
actually
priorities.
puts.
Yes, that's what Sarita was giving you.
Yeah.
So you have priorities, you work around your priorities, and based on that, you set support systems
Exactly.
so that you don't have any leakages, any gaps.
True.
Another thing that Sarita really upholds is she spoke a lot about integrity
Yeah, her
throughout
values.
it. She says she has a set of values that she lives by, and she ensures that she's living by them,
Yes.
and she makes herself accountable to those. And that for me is really just awesome.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You find that leadership without values is not leadership.
At all.
You know, leadership ultimately is character. And success in life and leadership is based on character. So Sarita is saying, I live on certain values that now become my boundaries. They set boundaries for me. They show me what I can do, what I can't do. They draw the line. Because I live by these things, therefore there are some things I cannot do because they're not in agreement with my values.
True.
And ultimately, that's the leader you believe in. And if you remember in Sarita's interview, this is why her people believe in her.
True.
Because she's a value-driven person. She's a value-based leader. And that's ethical leadership. That's servant leadership. So values are big. In fact, anybody without values hardly will go. The values are your compass. You know, they help you find home. Without values, you are lost.
Yeah. And
You drift.
On that note, we have a couple of messages. This one says, "Good evening, everybody. Very inspiring story there indeed. With God, everything is possible." And this one is from Kakompe, from Chipangali in Eastern.
I have to ask you how you got your NRC. You can read. Zambian
Chipangali.
Chipangali.
Thank you
Even
very
Musonda
much.
is laughing today. Musonda, you sure this person? She came from Australia.
This other message says, "Motivated by the topic." This is from Shad in Solwezi. Thank you very much. And this other message says,
I wonder if they gave me to read that, if I wouldn't do worse than you. I'm sure I would have done worse.
"You would have done worse."
I'm sure.
This one says, "I'm really enjoying the show. So inspiring. Apostle Bernard, I really love the grace upon the man of God." Thank you very much, Apostle Bernard, for that message.
God bless you, Apostle Bernard. But it's the women. The grace on those women. Super. Thank you, Apostle Bernard.
This one says, "Good evening, ladies and pastor. I'm watching the program from Makeni, Lusaka. Sometimes..."
Isn't it wonderful? I'm so sorry. Isn't it wonderful that our men are watching?
Exactly. And
Isn't
number
that
of
beautiful?
them
So many
is-
of them.
it
Isn't
is.
that
many of
beautiful?
them
It is.
are watching.
All the men, please, we honor you guys. Awesome. Thank you for supporting and keep supporting the women. Fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to have a support system because of jealousy amongst us.
Very true. You know, when you were talking about it, I said, in my head, that's what I was saying. That a lot of people, a lot of women don't have that support system because that jealousy, I wanted to say, pull her down, that kind of
Yes.
thing. And you become vulnerable when you open up to the wrong people.
That's
They
true.
even help you mess up.
That's true.
You know, I hear stuff, you know, I hear stuff. Some people say you're looking for support. I hear that, oh, there are some, you know, where they do these maids. There are some maid places you go, they will take your husband. So imagine you go and get a maid from such a place, you say it's support system. It's destruction system. They just destroy your family. So you have to be careful.
I know, right? Yeah.
You go and get a maid, say, come and support my system. Then the person steals the system. Or you go and bring a cousin or a relative, say, come and support my
Destroy
system.
the system.
They don't even destroy it, they steal it, they take it away. Then they evict you, say, you go and find your own. This is now my system.
We have another message. This one says, "Hi, I'm Mark. I have a question, and my question is, why many parents encourage their children for family planning? Is this okay?
Say that again.
Why do many parents encourage their children for family planning? Why do many parents encourage their children to go for family planning?"
You see, there's something parents have to do. Teaching, I want to think family planning will be what? Teaching them about their sexuality. I think it's something you have, because if you don't teach them, family planning is not saying, I don't think, if I try to see where this is coming from, family planning is not saying you're teaching them something bad. It's better you teach them than the internet teach them,
Yeah, I
than
think
their school teach
the
them,
notion
that their
is-
friends teach them.
yeah, the notion in Zambia when they say family planning, it's not like planning for family. It's taking contraceptives.
Contraceptives.
So
Okay.
that's the
Condomizing
Okay, I
notion.
see.
and
Yes.
I see.
to avoid a pregnancy. And
But the
STI.
thing is this, put it as part of sexuality,
Exactly.
okay? Who should teach your children about their sexuality? You
You
should.
should.
If they go and learn it from their friends, it's worse.
Want to experiment.
If you can talk to your children about family planning or condomizing or using, what you are teaching them, you see, you're putting it open that they can come and talk to you back. You are saying to them there are no taboos. So that if that person is in a problem, because you've opened up and you've put a space around there that they can reach you, they'll come and talk to you and say, oh, I have this, I have that. But if you make it something you don't talk about, if they have a problem, who will they go to? They'll go to the internet, they'll go to Uncle Google, they'll go to friends that are still kids. So I think every parent should do that. That's me. I don't know, but your children should learn their sexuality from you. Your children should learn about these things from once they come into the age of puberty. You like it or not, if you don't talk to them, somebody else is talking to them about it, probably close to every day. And the worst is somebody you call boyfriend that will tell. In fact, the boyfriend, we heard something on the news today where a 60-something-year-old grandfather is molesting his granddaughter. You see, if you don't teach people some of these things, they will think it's culture and tradition, and that 15-year-old girl is being molested because she has been taught to talk. And when you teach them these things, they are able to set boundaries and say, hey,
That's a
why?
line.
Yeah, that's a line. And she knows, I can't go this far because of this. So let's not just isolate the condomizing and what do you say, contraceptives. Let's look at it as a whole education. Once she's coming to her age, not some woman in the bush. That's your daughter, that's your son. Sit with them and talk to them. Your body is going to change. Things are going to happen to you. It's natural. But pay attention to this. If you don't tell her, a boyfriend will tell her, and the boyfriend is not telling her for your good or for her good. It's telling her for his good to destroy her life.
That's right.
Yeah. And we have a message from Facebook. This one says, we were very inspired when you came to Livingstone. You are a blessing. And as for me, I'm working on me, and I want
Amen.
to inspire other women. God continue
Fantastic.
using you. And this one's from Memory.
Amen.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much, Memory, for that message. We have another message.
Livingstone
that says-
has one of the
Awesome
most
people.
fabulous people in the world, I'm telling you.
This one says, talk more on character. Character
Okay.
is key.
Character is the most important thing. If you look through all we have done so far. If you look at the 33 women, we wanted 31, but we couldn't stop. And because of the value we've gotten from these 33 women, we're going to have season 2 of Scars to Stars. We never planned for that. What's going to happen because we have learned so much from these women. Now, if you go through every woman, one thread that joins all of them is character. Character, therefore, is what makes for success and leadership. What is character? Character is, originally, the word character means the mark you make on something. The mark you make on something is like taking a hot iron and putting on an animal. You're branding that animal. It becomes the mark. So character is like all of us are clay. Let's imagine all are clay. Character is you molding yourself into something that distinguishes you, that you are known by. So you have everything. You have stealing, you have cheating, you have integrity, you have honesty, you have all those. All those are values. Then you now choose and say, this is who I want to be. This is what they want. Then you start to shape your life. What you are doing is you are giving yourself character. Now that character becomes the foundation for your leadership and success, because what will happen is, let me give you an example. A tree, you see a big tree, yeah? The big tree has a lot of foliage, leaves, branches, very big. Now, why is this dangerous? Because the more leaves and foliage and branches this tree has, the more wind it catches. And if that tree catches the wind and the tree does not have a foundation, roots, the tree will fall. And if the tree falls, it will damage a lot of things. So for a tree to be a tree, it needs a very strong root system. Now your character is your root system. So if you don't have character, when you come into life, life will chew you up and eat you and spit you out. Because life test, success and leadership is basically a test of character. Most people you see, if not everybody you see successful, not the ones that steal. Forget that. That's it. In fact, the ones that steal have a character, but their character does not fit into what society calls good character. Their values are contrary. Okay? But character oftentimes is based on virtues. They call them virtues. Not vices, virtues. And those virtues now happens when character. I like Osborne, Dr. Osborne. She says, wait. If you don't have character, you won't wait. If a man drives up with some Range Rover and Vogue and some money and some Blue Label, whatever they drink, that girl is gone because she lacks character. If the boy comes and says, I love you, I'll do anything for you, I'll swim Lake Kariba for you, I'm telling you I will bungee jump Livingstone for you, I will enter into the stream for you. You hear that and you say, wow, he sleeps with you, that's your school life gone. So you find that it is not because you are not intelligent, it's because you got pregnant, because you lacked character to say no, I'm going to wait till I finish my university. Then 20 years later, you're looking back and you say, oh, the devil. It wasn't the devil. It was a lack of character because you chose to sleep with the boy. The boy went on to marry somebody else. And you see the boy driving cars and they don't think about you. And that person now has a child for maybe 3 people and no life. And life is tough. The problem is this: I didn't have character. And character formation is very difficult. So you see, when your mother tells you, wake up, am I talking too much? I was just answering the question. Am I talking too much?
You're answering the question.
I'm still answering the question. I'm okay. Praise God. So you see, you made me talk. You didn't make me talk. I'm talking too much. So you find that why people don't succeed in life is because when you are meant to be forming character, you say it's hard. Why? That's what Mwangala said. Mwangala said, people go to work and they do rubbish work or foolish work because they go to places they don't teach them character. I don't know if you remember what she said there. So most of us, when they tell you wake up, wash the plates, clean the bed, and this is why you see a lot of our women are succeeding today and a lot of our men are lagging behind because the women were raised to have character and the men were raised to have privilege.
True.
So now their privilege does not sustain the challenges, but the character from women is making them climb faster. So men are not handling their wives, making more money than them because they didn't allow themselves go through that. The woman, from the day she's born, people start molding her to be a woman, to wake up early, to sleep late, to da. But the boy, they let to drink and do nothing. Now she's making money, the boy is getting violent. And saying you must be your husband. Culture. No. It's not culture here, it's character. No more. Thank you.
On that note, I want to read the last few messages as we wrap it up. This one says, "Good evening, panel. Liseli Nsoma, enjoying the program from Livingston." Thank you very much, Liseli, for that message. This one says, thank you very much for the show. I'm a man, but I get inspired by inspirational women you have interviewed.
Awesome.
And I have learned that success begins with success in initiating and sustaining a good character.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for that
Thank you,
message.
sir.
This other one says, "Great program. I'm liking it so much. Please continue educating us." Beauty Bander from Livingston. Thank you very much, Beauty, for that message. This one says, "I'm Mark Kalumina. Thank you for answering my question. Proud of you."
Thank you so much, Mark.
This was the
Who
one.
answered the question? Was it me or you? So it's you that should say thank you, not me.
It was you.
It was me?
He was the one who was asking on the family.
Oh, I
planning.
see. Family planning. Thank you,
So
Mark.
thank you very much for that message. So as we wrap it up, I'm going to just ask you, Clara, what are your last words as we wrap up these very beautiful women that we have learned from today?
My last words are that every part of what was shared with these women is a lesson we don't have to go through.
If we learn.
If we learn, exactly. And also, I'll allude to what the Bible says, overcoming by the word of our testimony and all that. The testimonies that we heard have obviously made such an impact in our lives. And this is what I believe Prophetess Elfrida actually stands out to give out her life testimony, because it has just touched so many lives, changed so many lives, transformed and restored so many lives.
Absolutely.
So for me, that is my takeaway home.
Yes. And for me, it's just knowing that these women were bold enough to face those challenges and come out even great. That's just very hopeful for the young person that's listening, even for me. So even as you're learning from these lessons learned from leading ladies, my prayer is that you're applying them in your life, because these are lessons that have been tested, they've been tried, and they are working. So I hope even as you take everything that we speak about and these lessons that we're taking from these women, you're able to apply them in your life and better yourself.
That's right.
I don't know, your last words are, Pastor.
My last words are thank you for the women. They did amazing work. They have lived a life that inspires us to want to live and to aspire to be like them. So I want to thank all the women so far. Today is day number 4, and this is the 12th Women We Thank Sarita. Sarita, I hope you're watching. Thank you so much for living the life and going through Wangala. You were amazing. One of our best interviews. All of them were best interviews. So I will say that over and over again. It's not because I'm biased. It's just every interview was amazing. Thank you, Mangala, for excelling. You just are exceptional. And to, who did we have the third today? Prophetess. She knows I can't say enough about her. Thank you, Prophetess. And you will continue to inspire until 90. Even after you have gone to be with God, Zambia will continue to be inspired by your legacy you're leaving behind. Those schools, the hospital, the orphanage, and everything God is going to use you to build. We can't wait to be partakers of the blessing as a nation. Thank you. That's me.
Yes.
So you wrap it up. You send us, sign off.
Yes. And I think it can be said enough. Very awesome, very inspiring women that have come on the platform and shared their stories and shared their tips and given us the pathway or the blueprint to carry on. like I said, I hope you are practicing these things and working them in your life. And from everybody who's here, even Musonda behind the
Musonda
camera,
hiding.
and Andrew, who is.
When are you going to get Musonda to sit here?
I think he's listening. Please.
That amazing man. Tell him to sit.
We want you to sit on this panel and actually speak about these things. So from everybody who's put in great work going into this production, we want to say thank you and good night to everybody watching from home.
Musonda, when are you coming?